So, Bungie had their second reveal stream for Into the Light, this time focusing on probably the most important aspect of a looter shooter: the loot, the weapons, the one of the three sets of armor, because each class gets a set of armor and they only showed the hunter one. It's the same stuff from the key art, so I guess we've kind of seen it. But 12 weapons, which is honestly like not a small amount. That's about as many as we get in a whole season. So that's like actually surprising. I was fully expecting like 5 weapons. No, we got 12, which is pretty sick. And there's more to go in on that. Let's get the good out of the way before I get to the things that are a little annoying. So, what is good about this? None of these are craftable, which, no matter your stance on crafting, it has removed some of the grind in the game, or at least changed it, which is not necessarily great. But since enhanceable traits are going to be a thing on pretty much everything in the final shape, that's great. By the way, final shape's adding 100 more vault spaces. But I think that was the biggest blunder of craftable weapons, is they had enhanced traits, which made them flat out better, and you could perfectly curate it to whatever you liked. So it was just strictly better to do than even having an adept weapon, which was absolutely nuts. But we're getting 12 weapons, non-craftable weapons, and they have shiny versions. If you don't know what a shiny version is, that's a Pokemon thing. I'm not really a Pokemon guy, personally. I never have been. I wasn't really a Pokemon kid. Magic the Gathering, that's what I know. It's like your foils, your ultra rares, your mythic rares, except it's the same thing. So I guess it's more of like alt arts, banner or border breaks, serialized, I guess, but not that rare. Anyways, they are special editions of these weapons that have a different ornament that looks different, and you can only earn those up until June 3rd, which is the last day of Season of the Wish and Into the Light. But there's 12 weapons, and because I waited until the day after the stream, they released an article going over the weapons and their third and fourth column rolls. So we have Forbearance, which I'll get more into the 3-4 weapons I do have an issue with in here. Spoiler alert, Forbearance is one of those. But yeah, some great rolls. It has the roll from Vow, which I kind of saw coming. But yeah, it's a great weapon. If you already have the crafted version from Vow, I guess get the shiny version so you can have the ornament. But you don't need it. There's no reason to get it. Yeah, and then Succession, same story there. Yeah, there's different perks, but it looks like it's probably going to be picking the same ones from the crafted version. So if you have it crafted, just ignore it. Falling Guillotine is back. Chain Reaction with destabilizing rounds is a fun interaction that I think will be a good time. There's some cool stuff. There's Vorpal Weapon Whirlwind Blade, which is cool. By the way, if you watched the stream and saw the Last Stand trait, I am pretty sure, in fact, I do know, it was changed to Desperate Measures is the new name now. But yeah, no, all the weapons have some pretty decent rolls, some pretty cool stuff. Eager Edge is on Falling Guillotine. It's the 4th sword to ever have it. It also is the first sword to have sword logic on it. So you could do Vorpal Weapon with sword logic, so you get a kill on a higher level enemy and you deal a lot more damage. There's some content that could be really good in, but it's, yeah, you know. Sword logic, ironically, is probably not going to be great on swords. Recluse is back. This is going to go absolutely crazy for my Gear Falcon Hunters out there, and I'll probably use it on Gear Falcon Hunter because Repulsor Brace Master of Arms is a thing. That's kind of crazy. Subsistence is really good. Master of Arms with that. The only thing I would have thought was would have been cool is like reconstruction or something like that to make your magazine larger, so you can take advantage of that Master of Arms timer more. But it's fine. Mountaintop, which you can rocket jump with, it's super sick. The roll I'm going to be looking for probably is auto-loading holster Vorpal. There's other good stuff on it. I just feel like that's probably generally the best option for damage. And I guess utility, like you can get up to a high spot using auto-loading. You just put it in your back pocket and pull it out later. You know? Hammerhead kind of goes crazy with these rolls, okay? You have Rampage in your third slot. Things that are in the fourth column. We have Target Lock. We have Killing Tally. We have Onslaught. That's insane. Also, there's Rewind rounds are 4 times the charm. So if you're using Killing Tally, that's more ways to just not reload, like, at all. So yeah, Hammerhead is going to be nuts. I'm excited for it to come back. Blast Furnace has Kinetic Tremors and Head Seeker in the third slot. And your fourth column has a lot of damage perks. Has Frenzy, which is great. Rampage, not as great. One for All. The only thing I wish it had is Desperado. I think Desperado Kinetic Tremors would be a great roll that I don't think we've ever had before. But other than that, yeah, it looks really good. Edge Transit, didn't think I'd ever say this, looks kind of insane. Okay, if we're getting all these massive buffs to grenade launchers that they're saying, and I know they're like slightly better now, this is going to be nuts. Chain reaction with destabilizing rounds, that's a fine roll for ad clear, I guess. But you could do repulsor brace destabilizing rounds. That's not bad. You can do cascade point, bait, and switch. Wow. Full court might come in handy if they ever buff that, or if there's an encounter in the final shape raid that allows full court to shine. Yeah. So that's Edge Transit. It's coming back and it's kind of swinging. Luna's Howl. And when I'm... yeah, Luna's Howl... yeah, Magnificent Howl doesn't seem to be that great. Precision Instrument is also on it, and it kind of just seems like probably the better pick generally, because there's not a mag extension perk in your third call. I guess there's Subsistence and Slide Shot, so that might be good. But yeah, I think if you had something that made your magazine larger so you could keep stacking up Magnificent Howl charges before you reload, it would be even better. We'll see how it goes. I'm not totally sold on the new Magnificent Howl or the new Luna's Howl. They did say that, they did confirm finally that Not Forgotten will not be returning right now, but they're going to look out for a good opportunity. Which reminds me, this September is the 10th anniversary of the Destiny franchise. So I feel like, holding my breath here, not really, we could see Not Forgotten in a 10 years of Destiny small release or something. I feel like Not Forgotten would show up in some cool D1 and D2 weapons that are iconic. Maybe Revoker. Who knows what would show up for that. That isn't already reprised in D2, which they would probably go back to. Midnight Coup. It's back from year 1. The rolls personally don't impress me that much. Firefly Kinetic Tremors is cool, but like, you have 1 perk for ad clear, 1 perk for boss damage. If Kinetic Tremors worked on kill, that'd be pretty sick, right? It doesn't. So, in a lot of content, Midnight Coup just isn't the greatest. Explosive Payload's pretty good for Crucible. I could see Explosive Payload opening shot being decently popular, Maybe attrition orbs and kinetic tremors interact together. So maybe it'd be good for that. Hung jury for the 12th time. Woo! Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna be all that impressive. Kinetic tremors cascade point might be a fun roll, I guess. But yeah, it's hung jury. It's been back in the game for a long time, like since season of the Splycer. So there's not really anything to be too excited about it coming back, in my opinion. And then Elsie's rifle, or the Stranger's rifle. It's void, which is odd to me because for some reason I thought D1 it was arc, or no time was arc. And I was fully expecting it, when I saw it was in, to be either kinetic, arc, or stasis, but it's void. Okay. But it does have Desperado, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's some cool perks on here. It has rewind rounds, of course. It had to. But yeah, the rolls on it aren't all that impressive, in my opinion. But I'm sure someone will like it. Maybe there's an amazing PvP roll I'm just not seeing because I'm not huge on PvP. So I could just be wrong. So yeah, that is a little sneak peek at the different perks that these weapons are going to have. So what is my issue with... Oh yeah, let's talk about the rewards more. So you can focus your drops in Onslaught. You go up to one of the Shaxx holograms in the new public area, and I think they said every chest is guaranteed to drop that weapon, which is amazing. That's sick. So you can focus your drops. So if you really want a God Roll Mountaintop or a mountain or a fucking Recluse, you can focus that, and you can only get those, which is great. And I think that is a great way to move against crafting weapons. I think if we had quests that did that for raids, that would be super sick. I don't like raid red borders in general. But yeah, that's how that works, and that's super cool. I'm glad Bungie did that. I think that's a great idea. And I'm glad to, and I'll be intrigued by in-game. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the bad. The bad, I'm looking at 4 weapons here, okay? I'm looking at Hung Jury. It's been brought back 12 times. Why'd they bring it back? And then I'm looking at Forbearance and Succession. They're both not sunset in the game. They come from raids that are currently in the game. And I just don't think they should have been part of this. I think raid loot should generally just kind of stay raid loot. Especially since we have Fireteam Finder in the game, like right now. I think it was kind of a weird decision to put him in. If they needed a sniper in the kinetic slot, they could have gone with, is it Frigid Jackal? The one from Warmind that has a unique silhouette that no other gun has. They could have gone for that. If they needed a grenade launcher, they could have gone with Martyr's Retribution. It was the first wave frame. A lot of people want that back. It's a solar wave frame, which I don't think we have very many of right now. Explosive Personality, I guess. But that doesn't have Incandescent. They could have put Incandescent on it, and people would have loved it. And then Hung Jury, thinking of a scout rifle here. The new Monarchy one that looks like an M14 kind of. Yeah, that would have been great. That's not a model that's used often. It's the alternate Haka scout rifle model. And I think there's only like 2 weapons that used it ever. And then my other issue is Midnight Coup. It's from Leviathan, raid that's not in the game. So it's not as big of an issue to me as Succession and Forbearance because you can earn those in-game and they're from raids. They should stay that way. Midnight Coup, that raid isn't in the game. So I guess it's a little more understandable. But like when Leviathan comes back, the Midnight Coup has to be like leagues better in that than from this event, which is kind of rough. So, yeah, they could have gone with a different hand cannon, in my opinion. Maybe they reach into D1 for a different hand cannon. I don't know. I'm trying to think of iconic hand cannons that aren't in the game at all right now. They could have gone old-fashioned. Some people loved old-fashioned. I liked old-fashioned. It's a different model than we're normally seeing. You know, I do also wish that the Brave Arsenal weapons kept their origin traits from their respective foundries, because I don't think Hung Jury has Omelon. I don't think that Recluse has the Vice origin trait, so on and so forth. Now, I could see the issue of them not wanting to make a Black Armory one right now, or something, assigning Falling Guillotine foundry. Pretty sure it's Omelon, though. But I don't think we have any other Omelon origin traded swords in the game, so maybe they just don't know how that would interact with swords. I don't know. But yeah, that's my issue with it. I don't think raid weapons should have touched this. I don't think Hung Jury should have been in here. I wish they went with other options that we don't have a visual counterpart of. Frigid Jackal, that new Monarchy Scout Rifle, some cool hand cannon like old fashioned, or they could have gone with something from D1. Like maybe a Duke Mark 22, Mark 44, something like that. Yeah, I just wish they went with some different options in some of those. Martyr's Retribution. Yeah. That is my only issue with this. I have more issues with this stream than the first one, personally, but I saw chat was a lot more calm and not as awful this time, which is great. Love to see that. But next week, hopefully, is super cool. They're showing off exotic mission or exotic missions, craftable things, and by that I think they do mean the exotics from the mission or missions. I'm thinking Whisper, lower chance of 0 hour. I think Harbinger, so Hawkmoon mission, decent chance of getting in. I don't think we're getting a new one. If we were getting a new one, I would have expected it to be Not Forgotten as a exotic 180 with old Magnificent Howl on it. I don't think that's happening. So, yeah, that's about it for this video. Way longer than I thought it would be. But yeah, check out that comment down below, that pinned comment. Like, comment, subscribe, all that garbage. And yeah, I'll see you next time.